All right, we're going to record in 12, 10, 6. I'm just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to whatever this is. Maybe a year in review podcast. I am your host, Zubaz, with your fearless leader, Clone. Clone, how you doing?
Doing all right. How you doing, man?
Good.
Been a
I just
while.
it's been a while. That's why I decided to start with a blooper because we don't know what we're doing anymore.
I yeah, we need to get some more practice. I was all anxious about like, oh man, we're gonna record something and then, you know, I'm sure we'll talk about it. Then we had like a little blip on the site like 2 seconds before, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But
Yep.
anyway,
That's
falling off
the
a log, right?
that's the problem with trying to improve stuff. If you break stuff along the way. Um,
Hmm.
we're most people don't know, but we're working on I've been trying to start working on these help videos that we're going to use to send to new users to help them understand the wall of numbers that is BaseHit. And when I look at the videos, I realize how fidgety I am, and I'm seeing myself do it right now. Like I constantly
All right.
like moving the pants
That's
out
your
of my
move.
ass.
That's your move. I'm looking off into Never Never Land. I mean, we're made
It's
for
goofy.
radio. We're
Yeah,
made for
or
radio.
maybe I did need a different chair. I don't know.
I think we're charming. What the hell are you talking about now? Whatever.
Yeah.
I do think though, I think we're gonna put those videos live if people that have played forever want to stare at the beginner videos. But I do like that you're facing the right direction this way because we have that one
Yep.
video where you're
The funny
flipped
thing
over
is,
and
right
you're
now,
just
do you see BaseHit going the right way or the wrong
yeah,
way?
the right way.
See, I see it the wrong way. So that's what got screwed up in that first video is right now BaseHit's backwards to me,
Got it.
but it projects.
Got
I
it.
don't
Got
know.
it. Got it. That
Uh,
explains it.
yep. But
Anyway,
but so yeah, I mean, and actually, I know this is the year in review, and we were going to be all structured, but um, that is like one thing that has occupied certainly the back half of 23 is uh, trying to get this site, and I'm just going to go off on a little rant for a second,
go ahead.
get the site more friendly for new users. So that's why we haven't really run a tournament in the last couple months, and why we don't have any features coming out right now is because like that was such a big undertaking. Because once we started looking at the numbers, it was clear for every 20 people that came in, we were only like keeping one because it was it came in with no instructions, no help. You had to
Yeah.
find your own league. It was like getting lost in the woods, and 1 in 20 people get out without getting eaten by a tiger or dying from
And
starvation.
they're done. They're gone immediately, right? So like,
Yeah. And
and it's
so
always been that way.
it's
I
always
mean,
been that way. Everybody that's watching this at some point had to fight through that, but we're the rare ones that did. And it's just, and our demographic isn't necessarily, 19-year-old kids either. So it's a lot of people that would like don't want it just to be easy, just
yeah, yeah.
make it intuitive, just get me in. And so over the last um couple months, we worked on, the rookie leagues and getting the merge and purge to give them a more clear on ramp, creating a team, moving in, starting to do better job with email, starting to do a better job with help pages, with help videos, all of those things that I think a lot of people don't see because they're already in it. But it solves the one thing that everybody watching has said has been the biggest problem with this game for 20 years is that it's dying and we're always playing with the same people. And if it wasn't for all of us that have been dedicated and loyal and fought through all the bullshit over the years, that the game wouldn't be standing. And the one thing that I am very proud of is that now, we were bringing in maybe one person a month. Now we're bringing in 8 people plus a day, 8 to 10 people every single day. And it's the thing I'm most proud of because I think that in and of itself starts to save the game because we're infusing the game with all this new blood. And it's not, and it's been tough to get done, but like um we're bringing in more people now, probably in the last 3 months, than we brought in the last 10 years.
Absolutely. And yeah, if you're an existing user, you're not going to know. I guess some people saw, if you were on our Facebook or whatever, you would have seen some of the ads, but we, we've learned that we can get eyes on the site. You've done a good job. You committed to getting advertising dollars out there, and we've had good stuff out there, and we're getting a ton of eyes on the site. We have people that are interested, and yeah, it's keeping them around. But
Yeah.
yeah, and
And we
there's
still
and
have a
there's
lot to go
obviously
there.
there's more to do too. But if you haven't created, like, you remember, before even we started out, I mean, we have a whole new sign up flow that looks nice. That's much more clean. That if people haven't been through it, they wouldn't know. But you remember back in the day, if you wanted to start in a new league, you'd make a team and you would just sit there forever. And now we have new leagues automated that are cranking up every day. Um, we also
Literally every
had,
day, at least
yeah,
one a day. Yeah.
we fixed up those teams because you remember you created a new team. It was very hit or miss, and those are better teams now. Yeah. Anyway, so we've got it rolling, but there's a ton more to do. But even, yeah, I know, like you say, people probably aren't seeing it, but we're up
Yep.
at least 25% in the last since we changed that flow around. And that's not just, I mean, those are active users. Those aren't just people that are showing up.
Yeah, well, and you're
Um,
you're hitting on like the thing. There's two sides of it. There's the recruitment and the retention. We didn't have really any recruitment plan previous, and now we were running Facebook ads. We've had more success with Google ads, so we're sticking to Google ads, getting people in actively on the recruitment side. But then even when we got the ad stood up, we were seeing people fall off constantly. And so then it was like, okay, what are all of our problems? And we actually brought in a separate company that helped us with our new user flow, design that whole thing out to make it more user friendly, more explainable. And the part that did help the existing users is, one of the things that we wanted to do is those new user leagues, we wanted it to be 8 teams, not 24, to your point that you didn't want to wait around for 24 teams. So if we could get 8 stood up, we could go. But then by doing that, we were able to create 8-team leagues in the game itself. And so
yep.
there's not a ton of them right now, but we'll get more 8-team leagues stood up. And that meant we, have an expanded schedule opportunities now. We have expanded league options. So it does help on the backside too. But then, we have 8 teams come in, and just like any game, even the best games with retention, have the majority of people fall out in the first week. So what we also needed to do was create a merge and purge so that this league and the next league combine, so the strength of the league has a higher level of retention. And then you kind of push those people into the broader communities to start joining the private leagues that already exist and whatnot. And I see a lot of names that I haven't seen before out there already, but I mean, it's still pretty new. Everything. When did we launch the merge and purge officially? Like October?
I don't know.
Something like that?
No, it was earlier. I think it was in the summer.
Yeah.
And people might have seen them. The thing, yeah, people don't even realize. But so we have these rookie leagues that are the beginner leagues that people come into automatically when you're creating a new team. And if you decide to stick around, you go on and can get merged in other leagues. But those leagues go away, so people might not realize, because they might see them and then they disappear or whatever. Like, they don't realize how many tons of leagues have come in and come out
Dude, and
along the
like
way.
I know I'm jumping around a little bit, and I'm sorry I'm being unstructured, but going all the way back, like we had to redo everything, including at the beginning of the year, I was wearing this hat, and like
Yeah,
we had to rebrand the entire game, right? Like, because CSFBL not only wasn't catchy, nobody could remember it, but it also had no SEO use. It was hard to get people to an acronym game, even with paid ads. So we had to
yeah.
do all that. I think that happened in 2023. I don't know. It all
Did
bumps
it
together now.
happened in, I think that was January or February.
Yeah.
We're always gonna have old people are always gonna say CSFBL because we had it in our mind forever. But yeah,
Yeah.
when we were trying to advertise and you're trying to get the name out there, it's hard for people to see what
Dude.
CBTFCL. Yeah. Anyway.
And I realized when I switched hats there, like a little prop there, but I should have thought the other thing that happened in 2023 is this place made me lose my hair. And I exposed that to everybody, and everybody watching, this is your fault, not
No,
mine.
we're gonna fix that in post, and they're not even gonna know
Yeah,
what
we're
what you're talking about.
gonna let's redo it from the top. I'll spray on some hair.
Yeah, that was early on in the year, the rebranding,
Yep.
which has definitely helped with the advertising.
Yep. And so much has happened in the background just to, well, we can talk about anything you want, but I just also wanted to hit that so much has happened in the background to make the game run smoother and run more reliably. And I know, like, throughout the year, you see some hiccups, but I mean, if you knew the things that we're improving to do that, like long term, it's going to make the game so much more stable. It's going to make it run smoother, more consistent, etc.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all. I went back to look at all the things that have happened, and it's a ton. But splitting up, we split up the sim this year because everybody was used to. I'm saying this a second after this just happened on the site, but everybody was used to the idea that if a sim messed up, everybody was down. Is the sim down? Is the sim hung? Everybody would find out. We got rid of that, so
Which was no small undertaking, because it meant taking the sim that we normally don't want to mess with because it's very reliable, it always does its thing, but we needed to actually break that up. So if one league's doing something crazy, like a league that does things a little bit different, like redraft does things a little bit different, and some of the times it will crack the sim, but then every league, all couple hundred leagues would go down, and we'd have to reboot the whole thing. And breaking up the sim meant that redraft or whatever league would go on an admin hold, and everybody else would be fine.
Now you can just break your own thing.
Yeah.
But we're starting to. So along with that, we are jumping around, which we're just gonna jump around. But all that process. So everybody probably knows this already, but the way the site has run forever, we have everything happen at the top of the hour, everything happens at noon, and then the site calms down and we've got people looking at stuff, but all those actions are calm. And we're starting to be able to spread that out over the time too, because we have all these different processes. Like when leagues flip, it's more intensive than all the sims combined. So rather than
the new season.
The new season. Yes, new season. So being able to split that up over the hour or whatever, so that we're not going from these extremes, that's going to help.
If you saw the graph, it's essentially 12, 3, 6, 9, or whatever the times are in your area. Every 3 hours, you see this enormous spike where we use literally every bit of our computing power, and then it goes down to like single digits, and then it does it again. And that obviously didn't make much sense. And some of the things that take the most usage are things like when it's running linear weight calculations, even the awards a little bit. The new season is definitely the biggest. So if we can offset those from the sim a little bit, even if it means that in between seasons we have to skip a single sim, it makes the entire game run better.
So going back, all right, so we're skipping around. So going back to the new user stuff. So I was just looking at, I'm going to make a pitch here. I put it on the forums, but I was looking at the data. We added league blurbs, and we're trying to give people. There's a bunch of stuff we did to try to. There's little things to help people be able to communicate in the game, right? So like we just added the ability to send trade comments when you're accepting trades, rejecting trades.
So much better,
and it's already impacting my trade life.
Actually being able to do counter offers, to be able to leave comments for decline. And I know you're about
That's
to move
big.
on, but I just think that's a big deal because I think all of us, especially when you get a trade from a new user or something, you don't want to just decline and just like screw you. Like you want to help them along the way and give them a reason why you wouldn't accept it, because if you're getting a crap trade off or whatever, but also it provides this opportunity to counter offer and say, this is a more fair, equitable
Yeah.
trade, and at least have that back and forth, which we
And
didn't have the ability to do
to
before.
somebody. I mean, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I made a trade I totally wouldn't have made uh, a week ago because somebody sent me a bad trade, and I was like, and I would have just declined it and been done. But I opened the conversation. We went back and forth, and anyway, it was
You got
nice.
it. Yeah.
We added when you used to request a team, we didn't have the ability, so now there's messaging in there. But also we added the league blurbs in there, which I think got buried in here somewhere, where commissioners can put a description of the league up, and that's what I was looking at yesterday. So like,
Not enough people are doing that yet.
it's not enough.
Yeah.
There's 28 leagues that have written them, and you could say chicken and egg, like maybe they were active anyway, but it was like 26 of those are full or almost totally full. And then if you look at the leagues that are that have the most openings, almost none of them have it up there. I'm
Yeah.
just going to encourage, if you're in a league and you're trying to find owners, like one of the most basic things that you can do is, because there are new people coming in and they see the big list of leagues and they don't know us from anybody, they don't know what a good league is, just write in a description to invite people. That's like
So
the most basic thing you can do.
uh the leagues that are doing the best with the descriptions, what are they putting in there? Are they putting in the rules, or are they putting in we're new user friendly, or like what
Yeah,
would be your suggestion?
I've yeah, I mean, I think it's just generally given that feeling of being welcoming. I've seen a bunch that say that they're welcome in, open a new user. There's like
Yeah.
there's the anxiety of, do people want me in their league or whatever.
I mean,
Welcome
I
in. I mean,
remember when I was new, now this is 2004, but when I saw private league, I assumed that I wasn't welcome automatically. And if it wasn't for somebody posting on the forums and
yeah,
saying everybody welcome, I wouldn't even have thought to apply, because it takes you to a password screen instantly, and it's like, And so I
yeah,
think the way it's set up now is better, because I think most leagues just want owners that are going to be active, and that's it.
yeah. And if you have leagues that have specialty rules, like some of them, they don't even need to be private, but there's a bunch of people that wanted to be private because they wanted to make sure that people coming in knew their rules.
Yep.
Now you put this description in there, it's going to pop up in front of the new user that wants to get in your team. So if you haven't looked into that, if
Or
you're just
even like
playing the game, there's a bunch of stuff like this that you're not going to have noticed.
Even a league
But
like GOAT, they should have, something in there that says this is a 10-year sprint, so people don't think that they're getting rejected because they don't want a new owner. It's just these owners are in for 10 years,
yeah,
10 seasons.
it's true. So then, as part of that, and this is one of the things that we're working on in terms of new users, but everybody, we're trying to get. We all know. I'm stepping back into the stuff you talked about. We all know that there's like, you join the game and you got a while before you're going to win something, probably, unless you're lucky. You're joining, you're going to have to pay your dues and learn and everything else. But you don't, and then maybe you win a World Series after a couple seasons. That takes a while, and that is a long-term prospect. So we're trying to clean that up and get. I really want to get achievements going in the game, like every other game. Give some clear goals for people to go through. I think they're good for new users coming in. Badges, whatever you can earn for winning your first game, 10th game, 100th game, winning your first World Series. But I mean, I like that stuff for
Achievements will
long-term
be
games too.
I'm sure most people that have played games understand what you're talking about, but I've said it before privately, achievements will be the best improvement that this game can have, because it creates gamification for you as an owner, that is league specific, but also owner specific, and you can create badges for everything, and it just creates just this um, uh, uh, achievement cycle that will keep
Yeah.
people engaged, throughout the game. That I think it will be important. I think it leads into some of the stuff we'll probably talk about next with tournaments and contests and everything else.
Well, we're gonna go there too. The with the achievements, I think so. We're already working on this, but one of the most popular things we've done in a while was the user records when we added everybody's user records, because all of our histories have been we have all this data, but they've been kind of buried in there. And we added the user records to everybody's personal page, which I think everybody likes, but it's just yours. So we're gonna expand that out. So you'll be able to see everybody's user stats, everybody's career stats, and get them updated real time. So when Pimp is coming up on his 300th World Series or whatever the case may be. All those goals, I don't know.
Yeah,
They get, whether it ties into something in your brain, they get me in a game if a game tells me.
totally. And it rewards activity and longevity. And the more you play, the more you're in, the more you're having fun. So yep.
You were talking about tournaments. Well, we're jumping, but
I think
we
that's
did.
yeah.
You said earlier we didn't do one, but we did do the Blast of the Past in the fall, and then
Oh yeah, that was in the fall. You're right.
was in
And
the
actually,
fall.
that was one of the more sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that was
No,
one
it's
of the
fine.
more innovative tournaments that we've ever done. It gave people to a chance to relive a team. Yeah, I mean that was one of the coolest things that we've ever done in the history of the game, I think.
Um, yeah, and we had to figure out a bunch of stuff there. Bringing back old teams, being able to run a series instead of having it be leagues. I mean, all the stuff that we can use for other things.
We
Being able to run the games on a different schedule, not having to wait till.
Yeah. I mean, player resurrection in and of itself is something I think we've all dreamed of at some point, but now we have the ability to make that possible. But then the bigger thing by far was we were able to bring teams from every or any league together for a bracketed tournament. We had a bracket and we're able to play on different sim days. I'm not sure if everybody appreciates, like, that was like 4 different projects in one to get that to happen.
Yep. We got shout out to CBT again, who helped. We brought him in to help do the bracket, do the sign up sheet, and I'm going to be knocking on your door again soon, CBT, to talk about the achievement stuff. We got a lot of talented people around to help us stuff. We're going to tap into that as much as we can.
Yeah. And actually, if I could just use that as a segue,
go ahead.
like if anybody watching does have unique skills that are willing to help, we would really appreciate it, because we still have a lot to do. We got to get I'd love to get some help with the help pages, certainly, or help with the blog, just like activity stuff to help new users. Certainly front end, back end coding are obvious ones, but anything that you could help with would be appreciated.
Yeah, that's a more general. People might not realize that we got a skeleton crew. I think at some point when you came in, people were imagining, like, I don't know. It's a bigger.
Well, yeah, and
imagining endlessly deep pockets and a professional army of whatever else, but we're working with one full-time developer.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I mean, Mike's been doing.
And Mike's amazing. I mean, he has overcome a lot. And but yeah, we're one developer deep, so there's only so much we can do. But with we can bring people in part-time. Certainly volunteers would be greatly appreciated, but this is a community-based game, so hopefully we can crowdsource some solutions to some of the things we want to get done. But it does get a little bit better every single day regardless, but the faster we can do it, the happier I think we'd all be.
The going back to the tech stuff that we did, I mean, this is something that I think that we can say. I mean, so there's a bunch of stuff that we've fixed, but we're still operating on this core of the ASP site that is 20 years old or maybe older. So there are some clunky bits to the car that are still out there, and I think that we have a path forward. I mean, so there's some things that we had updated along the way. There's new technology in the back that's letting us do some of the database stuff, some of the queues, whatever. But you saw we did like the new box score page and play-by-play page and roster page, which was playing around with some. But I think um, we have more of a path forward to moving into a better tech stack. Which then, if we do that, then we don't have to rely on developers that can work on 20-year-old stuff anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a
no,
whole there's a whole world of people out there.
we definitely need to do that because I think I assume anyway a lot of people like their new roster page because it's so dynamic. But in doing that, we created, our path to this new tech stack, and we were going to do it page by page. But for some people, it's just mildly annoying that they have to click re-log in. For some people, it's been more than that because they've had more complications, either because of their browser settings, whatever is unique to them. And definitely realize that we're working on a solve for the Auth0 is the thing that lets you log in both on the multi-page and the single page, and they have to talk to each other, and that's where we've had some hiccups, but I think we hopefully have a path forward on how to solve that issue. But then we have to solve the tech stack in general, because not to get too deep, but this was written in a language or on a platform called Classic ASP, which was done in 2000, 2002, and then there was random amendments all the way up till like really 2009, and then there wasn't much work done until like 2017 or so. But and with all those iterations, it was already created a lot of technical debt because it's been around for 20 years. But then you have these other iterations, so we got to level that up to ASP.NET, so that at least we have other people that can work on it, because there's almost no one that knows Classic ASP anymore. So it's like we're writing in 10 print quote run
Just about, yeah.
CSFBL semicolon 20 go to 10.
And
So we're that's one thing that's going to happen this year, is we're going to upgrade our tech stack to .NET, and a lot of this stuff people playing the game won't feel immediately, but long term it will help us improve the game exponentially.
I mean, getting a lot of the stuff, like the roster page, to me is really good on desktop, but I would say it's rough on mobile personally. But I think going to .NET is going to help us with our ability to make things a lot more mobile friendly too, right? Because
Yeah, without a
and
doubt.
that's something 20 years ago, obviously, that was not. And
No, there was no resizing of pages. There was no worry
no,
about mobile.
and
I don't even think
I
there
don't
was
know the people.
Blackberries.
It feels
So
to
there
me
wasn't
like
even
I always want.
monochrome yet.
There was black. I remember you being
Was
on
it,
your BlackBerry
but
all
that
the
was
time. We were talking.
2008. 2000?
Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
I mean, we were doing
BlackBerry.
Nokias.
You might be right.
Yeah.
But we see the data, and like just like every site, what 2/3 of our people are on mobile, maybe, or 2/3 of our. I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And we know
And people
that.
make it work, but it's not
Yep,
ideal.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So look forward to that. Obviously, that's a big lift because we have to take the entire thing and lift it up. So we're going to definitely have to get some help with that, but we have a reasonable plan at the moment.
We do have a plan. We have hopefully a fix coming for the Auth0 stuff, the login stuff coming soon. There's some other stuff in the background that's been driving us crazy that we brought some people in to work with, and then redoing stuff. And again, there's it's not a lack of ideas, it's a lack of hours in the day, and there's things that we could use help with. There's stuff that Mike wants to do. Like, we've had to work on a lot of the stuff that either is quiet or not as fun as people want. What do people want? Better triple play. I don't know. Triple play is not But
No,
the
bullpen
whiz
logic.
bang
We
stuff,
all
people
want
want well,
bullpen logic.
bullpen logic. Yes, we want
I'm
bullpen
only
logic.
saying it because I know somebody shouted it at the screen right now. I want bullpen logic too. But just with like a lot of the features in the game, there's all these downstream effects that are affected by how the sim is designed. So it forces us to hit over a couple of dominoes before we get to that. But trust me, I want it too because I just lost a gnarly game in redraft that killed me because of bullpen
And when
logic.
we first, nobody had worked on the game in forever, and when we first came in, the first thing that happened was we started tinkering. There was a lot of we want to do this to the game, and this to the game, and then we realized like that was happening pretty fast, and that threw a lot of people off. And we've taken a step back to some extent on this stuff to let the dust settle. But also, we want to make sure that like we have a plan before we mess with those things.
Yep.
We're gonna get there. But Mike did you mentioned the linear weight stuff, which might seem people just know that from the stat on the player cards or whatever right now. But
Yep.
that's actually a big thing in the back because it impacts salary and it impacts, it
Impacts salary, it impacts awards, it impacts
Yep.
I mean, and in the future it could impact weightings for contests, it could impact league weightings. Like there's all
Yeah.
sorts of things that could touch if it's done and calculated right. But for it to be done and calculated right, it took a lot more compute than we did before. And so
Yeah.
it was a big deal. I mean, it was like Mike did
Wow.
a month of work on it to get it right, but then once we get it right once, it's there.
And he's got a list. His list of stat work that he wants to do is long, and he started conversation with a bunch of users because we got smart guys with ideas on how to do this to we have to adapt. So linear weights before now was based the way it was being done. It was based off of MLB era data that was it was just static. So now we're able to do it like we all know that. I mean, MLB is one league. We have hundreds of leagues. Each one of those is a separate world. If you've got different salary caps, you've got different things that owners are into, whatever. There's different values to what players do. So now we can factor that in, and that can lead to better overalls, better salary. Yeah.
It's a more base hit friendly linear weights.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, we're all over the place here.
No, actually, I looked at the list. We actually went right down the list. We
we're
just
going
did it
down
in
the
our
list.
own like meandering way.
I want to go back to tournaments. We're going to do more
See,
tournaments.
Now we're jumping all over the place.
There's people. Well, I'm going to go back to the stuff.
Go back, do it.
There's TOC. People that like the TOC that are bugging me.
Yep.
It's gonna happen. I'm taking a little while. There's your brewers going.
Yep.
I had already said we were going to do it different than last year because it is labor intensive and it takes a long time. And I'm still working out the format, but it will happen. But the goal, my goal, we all like the Dynasty game, but my goal is to have shorter versions of this game for us to play.
Yeah.
And like we did the lineup lockdown tournament, and the plan is to have that going weekly so that people, I know people that used to play this game that just are busy and can't commit the time, but I know that they could come in once a week and pick
Set a
players
lineup.
for
Yep.
yeah. So I think that'll be fun.
Well, actually, expand on that a little bit more because I think, like, even when I get into conversations and people are talking to me about the game, they're always talking about the Dynasty game. And one of the things that I think is worth bringing up here is we need to pull out beyond the Dynasty game for a couple reasons. One, because we need a quicker way for people to play, for people that are busy. Number one, a quicker place for people to play that are just starting out. We need games that move faster. We need games that cut across dynasty leagues to incorporate more people. We got to have contests for, all those things. Can you just expand on why that's important?
I don't know if people know this, but kids these days don't have attention span. Even us, like we're all busy, and it is nice to be able to build a team that takes forever. But
Yeah.
any way that we can do it to where, I mean, the dynasty game is forever. Then you had goat that have 10-year sprint that still a long time, but the idea that
Takes
you would
one
run a
real life
town.
year,
Yep.
essentially,
Then
including the
you had
draft.
Yep. Then you
Yep.
had redraft that would be every season you would do it. But even those to me are long. Like I want us to be able to play series against each other. I want people to always be able to, if they want to play something right now, that there's something fast
Well,
that
and
they
you
could get into.
think of like a new user when they get beyond the merge and purge, they join a league. A lot of times they're taking over a crappy team. And anybody knows a crappy team could take 8 real life months to turn around if you know what you're doing
Yeah.
and not learning on the job.
Yeah.
And through drafts or trades or free agents or whatever, maybe you can do it a little bit quicker. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to take that long. And so we want people to be having fun right off the bat and be able, like, lineup lockdown is really important because we can just hit that every week. I think even me playing for 20 years learned something by playing lineup lockdown, by having to pick between players and watching them play on different teams. I think it's just important for a myriad of reasons to have multiple ways to play the game. And, you see that everywhere. You see it in poker sites. You can have table games, you can have contests, you can have sit and go tournaments. Not really any different than that. Like, we're not bound by laws of physics or real life players or MLB season, so we can play baseball in a million different ways.
Let me back up and tell you my story with Jelly and I and Stratomatic. Which if I check my phone, I think Jelly might have
Made a move.
batted this inning.
Yeah.
So Jelly and I started playing Strat a couple of years ago, and we play it over, which everybody knows it's card based and you roll dice, whatever. But
And it's been around for 50 years, 70
It's been
years.
around forever.
Yeah.
But to me, and I think for most people, like some people, Jelly's more into the in-game stuff than me. But I think both of us, it's the player selection, right? That's exciting.
Yep.
So we do a draft. It seems to happen like once a month where we do a draft and we draft new players from the Hall of Fame set for a 7-game series. And that day or two of the draft is very exciting. And it's just fun. And then you're looking at your team, and I'm making new spreadsheets, and I'm setting up the lineup and everything else. And then and then we start playing the games, and I think to myself, like, we need a way to automate running these games. Like, it's totally like leads into BaseHit. Like,
yep.
If only there was a way that we could, now that I've picked my team, that we could really quickly run the game and see like the results, whatever. So it's the same thing of like getting people ways to make those players. I mean, everybody loves the draft. It's the same thing. Getting ways to choose players all the time. And this is what I've said this before. I think nobody believes that this is real, but I want to make this happen. Having the one night tournaments where you can get 8 buddies together. I feel like it's doable. 8 buddies together where you're doing fast drafts, picking teams, and running a tournament that night where you're all hanging out.
8's a lot, but if we could pull off something like that, for sure.
We could do it.
You think you could do 8? All right.
This is the card. This is the card draft.
Yep.
There's different. We're gonna steal from Magic the Gathering on that one. Anyway, there's so many different formats. Jelly and I just did. So we had been doing drafts. You and I did one. We're head to head. I definitely I get too excited talking about this, but we just flipped it over to try a different draft, which was we drafted each other's team this last time. So we were trying to draft the worst possible team, and that was a whole different strategy, and it was really fun.
Yeah, man. That's it. Just having fun.
He's killing me. Yeah.
Just having fun. We got to find more ways to have fun. That's all it is. I really do like in 2023 also, speaking of having fun, for the longest time, and maybe I still do have the most posts on the forum, I got really into the community, but for 2023 I got really into Discord. And I know that like there's some angst about the divergence of those communities, but I would really encourage everybody to give Discord a try because it's really easy to build a really good real-time community there. And I really enjoy it. So like shout out to the Discord community too. Like obviously there's a lot of good reasons to stay on the forums and make sure that even in if you're in Discord to be checking the forums regularly. But Discord's fun, man. You can get a lot closer to people. We do voice rooms for drafts now, in like redrafts. So we're getting together at least once a month, via voice or video or whatever. It's awesome, but you can just chat on there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a place for both. You and I both might be the two most forums postingest people of all time. And we have the license. I'm hoping we're going to get somebody here soon that we can upgrade the forums because we need to make it more user friendly, and that's part of it. But yeah, Discord is just the ability to ping each other is the biggest thing. And sometimes I know people will say like, oh, it's quiet, and they don't realize like at some point, once we all got to know each other, we're all on our social media, we're all on our phones. Like when something happens, we text each other, right?
Yep.
And that's what Discord simulates. So I was feeling fussy about this. It was when Saban went away, when Saban retired, and I think it was Spam saying like nobody's even talking. I know he was asking about Belichick, but then I was like, I've talked to like 10 people in the league about this in the last day, but then I realized like nobody's seeing it because it's all texting and it's all everything else. But anyway, it's just getting to know each other. And, and having the instant.
Discord does a good job of creating rooms for topics, rooms for leaks, private discussions, whatever. Like any way you want to communicate, there's a way to do it there.
Yep.
And that's why every game uses Discord because it works.
Well, that's what, yeah. I mean,
yeah. And you know how we got on Discord was your son.
We got on Discord
bringing up Discord.
Son. There's people that want to blame. Maybe they'll blame my kid.
Yeah, blame him. It's his fault.
But the biggest thing we used forums for was the draft. Was the live drafts.
That's right. In a lot of leagues, that's all it was for.
And we knew that when that went away, it was going to be tough to keep that conversation going. And we've seen it. And I've read every site's having problems with keeping forums going.
Yeah.
But there's still a place for the long-term conversation, and we need to make it more mobile friendly. But I think we can do it.
Yeah, we got to upgrade the forums anyway. So if anybody wants to help with that, we would love to upgrade the forums.
If we have anybody that knows V-Bulls and all this stuff, all the stuff we need to do, and we're skipping, the big list of in-game stuff that is endless that we want to do with bullpen logic, with changing, updating the stats. New era, steroid era is one that hangs out there. Adding the wheel draft, adding all these things. At some point, we're going to get to them, but we also, I'm going to transition to say, at some point, we need to have a premium tier here. I think a lot of those new things are going to be like premium package stuff because we can't keep digging into that stuff. With the amount of people we have, we need some resources coming in, right?
Yeah. Well, and one thing, since you're bringing that up, is like when I first came on board, if for the people that remember, we were just getting spammed with all these really terrible invasive ads, page takeovers, all that shit. It was the first thing I did was get rid of them. The problem with getting rid of them is it eliminated any revenue source for the game. And so for the past 2 years, I've been paying multiple people full-time wages to work on this game, been paying outside contractors to help us with the new user flow, outside contractors to help us with our ad placement, outside contractors to help us with our SEO, been throwing out a truly irresponsible amount of money to get the game stood back up. And so, but I also made a promise that the game as it is will forever and ever be free.
Yep.
And it always will be. I'm never changing that, never changing, going back on that promise. But I do think we got to bring responsible amounts of ads back into the game. And we are going to do that sometime in 2025. They won't be awful.
2024.
Or
Hopefully.
2024, sorry. It won't be awful, but we just got to get just non-invasive ads back on the game so that at least there's some base level of money coming back in. But at some point, like I do think we'll want to create leagues and tournaments maybe with expanded stat packages or with beta versions of the game, you know, like these opportunities for people to experience new and exciting or expanded versions of the game that we would put on some premium tier of the game that you could add a membership to. It's something we've talked about for a long time, and we're not really that close to that part of it yet, but definitely want to do that because at some point we got to make this we don't have to necessarily make this a business, but we just can't make it make Jason homeless. We just have to make it just that, right? Because one thing that we have to do is continue to have full-time development on the game, and to do that, like we have to offset the salary at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it'll be cheap. I mean, it's not going to be a big deal, but it's just, is what.
Well, I think everybody probably understands, or maybe they don't. Maybe they imagine it's different, but I don't know if people fully understand that this has been a labor of love for you, definitely. And if I could get sappy if I talk about it, but if you think about like my bowling alley that I just loved that went away, and I always think like, you know, if I had some money, like it would have been awesome to be able to step in and save it. And that's what you did with this game. And that's really cool.
Yeah, man.
So we need to figure out a way to not be a sucking black hole of money. And we're gonna come up with things that people want to pay money for. I know that we have a bunch of people. I know some people can't do it, or maybe they don't want to, but we can find things that people want to spend money on.
I still think we can find cool ways to do the ads that isn't annoying at all. I still think that there's great opportunities, and you said it yesterday, great opportunities on GameView to advertise in a pseudo stadium, just like you would watch a baseball game. And that's not going to bother anybody, but like there's ways to do that accomplish both goals. And I'm not saying we're always going to get it right, but I use the game probably as much, if not more than anyone. I think I have 14 some teams right now. And so I'm not going to do anything that drives me crazy.
No, absolutely.
So I promise.
All right. I'm going to try to do an index of this conversation. It's going to be like, boop, 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 boop. It's going to be all over the place. But
I don't think it's all over the place.
You don't think it was too crazy?
No, I don't think so.
So we should commit, while we're on here, we should commit to getting you on this camera more regularly. Talking to me, talking to other people, whatever else. We got to get
you know what I really want to do? And I have not talked to you about this, so I'm just like shooting from the hip. But I really do like the idea of having like a monthly happy hour where, like, on a Sunday night, a night that most people are home anyway, 6 to 8, one time frame, 9 to 11, so everybody in the country can hang out, and we just come on, we watch some games, or we do it while we do a watch party for like opening day or for an actual game or whatever, we're watching it together. I think that's a good idea. I want to definitely do that this year.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
We can do it.
Maybe we should do it for the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people go to parties,
going to their own Super Bowl party.
Anybody that's not at a Super Bowl party, like I won't be, to watch the game with them. That sounded sad. I sounded depressed when I said
I've got two Super Bowl parties I'm invited to that I don't want to go to either one because I don't care about either of these teams. I'm not rooting for either one.
And you're not excited to watch Taylor Swift in every camera angle of every shot?
I should come up with. I can come. We surely there's going to be good bets from both of
Drinking
you.
game.
There's
I
got to
don't
be
drink.
bets. I haven't checked the
What the line
yeah,
is?
what do you were just no, I haven't checked all the prop bets yet. There's always good prop bets. There's got to be a
I'm sure
million
there's a
million
lot
in
of
there.
Taylor Swift prop bets.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyway, getting you on here. We haven't. I don't know what people have imagined, but
Ah,
we had been planning to record this and catch up, but
yeah.
took a little while.
It's all right. All right. So we've gone 48 minutes or something like that. We should probably kill it here. Nobody wants to watch us for a full hour.
No, you're right. All right, sounds good, man.
All right. Hey,
Good to talk to you.
to all of you, thank you very much for playing. We love you dearly. I hope that you're noticing all these new users come in too, because we're going to end this right where we started. There's lots of new users, new blood coming into the game. Please, if you have a chance, help them learn, invite them into your leagues. But that's what's going to grow this game over time. And it really is a passion and labor of love for me. So thanks for playing, and we will see you in the next time we record, and hopefully in a happy. All right. Take care.
Okay.